But it always leaves the question, 6 weeks has gone by, and we know at this point they're not in the woods. And where are they?
Did you feel in the beginning that they suspected you?
Of course. The stepfather was always a prime suspect right off the beginning.
We know they aren't in the woods. Do we really? And did you feel in the beginning that they suspected you? Of course, but they don't anymore. Don't they really? Daniel Martel has definitely done his research, and yes, it's true, the stepfather, well, not the stepfather, but those closest to the children in incidents like these are the obvious initial suspects. I do think that's him misspeaking a little bit by saying the stepfather is the one they suspect first. That's not actually who they suspect first, just the people closest to the children. But it is interesting how he, certainly in his choice of words, implicates himself. Anyway, now that he's cleared his name in a polygraph, a test he admitted he felt very nervous going into, Daniel Martel seems to be confident to share some of his theories, and he ends up speaking in an interview for around 10 minutes, I think the longest he's ever given. So let's examine them, starting with this idea that the babes aren't in the woods.
I got nightmares in my head, I fear thoughts build up until I can't feel. My mind fills up into a creature, and it haunts me somewhere much deeper. I got nightmares in my head, I fear.
But it always leaves the question, 6 weeks has gone by, and we know at this point they're not in the woods.
I still think the woods are the most obvious place for them to be, and I really don't think the woods can be ticked off the list at this point. So it's interesting that at this early stage, he seems to have developed the certainty that they are somewhere else and that they're not going to be found in the woods. Well, where are they? Before we get to the rest of this analysis, and we are going to be dealing with 10 red flags in the Stepdad's Letters interview. If you haven't subscribed to the channel, please do. If you're wanting to get notifications for videos on this particular high-profile case, please hit the notification bell. If you're new to me, you don't know about me, I've written many books on, for example, the Chris Watts case. We've been here before doing statement analysis. We certainly did that with Chris Watts during the Sermon on the Porch, and look how that whole case turned out. If you're finding this analysis worthwhile, please do hit the thanks button, and let's get started. So, number one, he doesn't feel he's under suspicion now.
Don't feel that now?
No, I don't feel that at all. I asked for the lie detector exam, the polygraph exam. I gave them my phone. I told them I do drug tests because there's a lot of rumors online.
So he doesn't feel he's under suspicion now. Is that why he's giving an interview? And he talks about passing a polygraph in that interview. He's giving an interview and it's not to clear his name. Then what is this interview for? And that brings us to number two, rumors of a drug party.
I told them I do drug tests because there's a lot of rumors online about a drug party. Mm-hmm. I know the person that said those rumors, and it was just to take the heat off themselves.
Do you notice we are barely 75 seconds into this interview and he's already volunteering, is already talking about drugs? The first thing he seems to want to talk about are rumors of a drug party. But wait, he's not here to clear his name? Number three, he took 3 weeks to do a polygraph. Isn't that quite long? If you're looking for children and you can't find them on the first day, or the second day, or the third, or the fourth, or the fifth, or the sixth, or in the first week, what else is there to do? And so you don't find them in the second week after that. Why is it taking 3 weeks? Given the swirling suspicion, couldn't you have done that right in the beginning?
When did you do that test?
Oh, I don't know the exact date, but that would be at least 3 weeks ago, probably.
So roughly 3 weeks after the disappearance.
Yeah.
Number four, details matter. All right, so let's start getting down to brass tacks. When Martel is asked when he took the polygraph test, he can't seem to remember the date. Then, when he's asked to explain the test itself, he goes into great detail about a big comfy chair, sweat detector sensors, blood flow, etc.
We go in, sit down in a big comfy chair, and they have multiple sensory pads. You have them underneath your forearms, you have them underneath your butt, and you have them underneath your feet with your shoes off. You have a sweat gland on one finger. You have a measuring instrument for blood flow that goes in and out of your hand.
So you see, he is capable of going into a lot of very, very fine details, very specific details. Now, when someone is capable of going into this level of detail about facts that don't matter, we do legitimately have to ask why they are so mum on the facts that do matter. And that brings us to number 5, the first question Daniel was asked during the polygraph test.
Were you nervous?
Yeah, I was extremely nervous. Especially with the first question they asked you, did you kill Lily and Jack?
That was the first question they asked you.
Yeah.
All right, I said we were going to get down to brass tacks, so let's do it.
Are you sure you want to hear this?
I'm going to give you an opportunity to see what I'm seeing. So we'll play that again at normal speed. See if you notice anything.
Were you nervous?
Yeah, I was extremely nervous. Especially with the first question they asked you, did you kill Lily and Jack?
That was the first question they asked you.
Yeah.
Now let's watch that again with the sound off at 0.05 speed. And one more time at 0.25. Did you pick up the flick of the tongue right at the moment when he says, did you kill Lily and Jack? It's this moment right here. Now, you are going to want to look out for that. When does he make this movement of his tongue sort of emerging, licking his lips besides here? Is it a tell, or does he do it all the time? He also drops his head and shuts his eyes as the moment lingers, and he says here. Did you notice Martel does this first lip lick within the first minute after saying the stepfather is always the suspect in the beginning? Let's watch that again.
Closer, please.
Do you see it?
Closer.
Number 6, what goes through your mind? This is sort of open-ended question is a fantastic way to get the interviewee to open up, but also for them to choose where they want to go. And guess where Daniel goes? Of all the things he can say, he says this.
Are you sure you want to hear this?
Your mind has a massive release of chemicals, I guess you would call them.
Is that just him saying the word chemicals, or does there seem to be a little bit of a smile when he says that?
Has a massive release of chemicals, I guess you would call them. Just, it's like your stress levels just astronomically through the roof, and your body doesn't know what to do, because it's not every day the way you're hooked up to machines in an interrogation room where...
Again, it's quite a visceral description and also very specific, quite a lot of detail. He's literally sharing here on the issue of what he's thinking when asked if he murdered 2 children, that his mind is going to a massive release of chemicals. It's an odd thing to say. What does it mean? Does it tie into the drug narrative? Does it have something to do with the chemicals at the timber mill where he worked? Or is this just a random figment of Martel's imagination? Number 7. Did you take them somewhere? There's another heavy-lidded closing of the eyes at this question.
What other kinds of questions did they ask you?
All the questions pertain to the death of Lily and Jack. Are you accessory to the murder of Lily and Jack? They were all...
So all of the questions assumed that the children are no longer alive.
Yeah.
There were no questions at all about, did you take them somewhere? Could
No.
they be somewhere?
No. My interview was 4 hours, and a lot of the interviews from my family were 1-2 hours. So,
To be fair, Martel does another partial lip lick here when he talks about his lie detector taking 4 hours. So the licking of lips may not necessarily be a tell. It's hard to say without more footage and more information. That brings us to number 8. What doesn't he show in this interview? Well, something that is actually quite obvious. He seems unemotional. He doesn't say that he's upset. He doesn't say that he's sad about what is going on, although I think he does right in the beginning say that his emotions have gone from sad to angry. He doesn't really look particularly angry. He seems very flat. But there isn't any obvious grief, the sort of thing you'd expect from a grieving father, even a grieving stepfather. He seems quite unemotional. It's very different to what we saw in terms of the parents and step-parents of Gabby Petito, where you could see the obvious grief on camera even years later. Number 9, what doesn't he do in this interview? Well, when does he appeal to the public for help? Isn't that why he's there? If he is innocent, isn't that why he's there? He wants to find them, he's trying to find them. And so isn't there any kind of appeal? Number 10, he is a passive voice. The biggest red flag for me is also the most subtle. What isn't he doing? Well, he's not volunteering suggestions or information. He's not soliciting help or offering solutions. He's not trying to suggest a phone number to call. He isn't directing the interview or offering insight. There's really no urgency. Instead, he's simply allowing himself passively to be questioned, and he decides how much to limit his own answers. And that's a crucial difference between campaigning to find someone you love and campaigning about your own innocence. Think about how much detail he goes into talking about the censors and how little he really talks about the questions that they ask him. Do you believe him now when he says he doesn't feel he's under suspicion now? Let me know your thoughts in the comments. I'm not going to take it further than that. Thank you for listening, and I'll see you guys next time.